I'll start by telling everyone who I'm talking to. For those of you who are wondering, this is David O'Neill. He's the CEO of Energy Talk Radio, and many of you have probably seen some of his interviews with other thought leaders and life coaches around the country. And I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if he opened up the second edition of Your IV? So I'm so glad that he's doing that. I'm going to tell you a little more about David. As CEO of Energy Talk Radio, David O'Neill has revolutionized the broadcasting industry through his innovative spin on social marketing and his fresh approach to internet radio broadcasting. An internationally recognized interviewer with a light touch and an open heart, he hosts inspiring guests on his station who actively support his dream of a golden age where greed, suffering, and hunger are a thing of the past. So far, in his quest to eliminate human suffering and help people evolve, David has reached a global audience of millions and helped many visionaries build glowing careers in broadcasting. So thank you for being here once again.
Well, I'm so glad to be able to support you in the work that you're doing, because you are one of these glowing visionaries that I am just so excited to help.
Well, that's very nice to hear. I've never thought of myself as a glowing visionary, but I will take it. So, as you know, David, I'm asking life coaches and thought leaders from really around the country to participate in the second edition of Your IV so that your life lessons can inspire others to tap into their insightful voice and then hopefully lead them into the life that they most want to live. So I thought I'd ask you 3 questions, and we could take it from there.
Sounds great.
Okay, great. So the first question is, if you had the opportunity to get one message to the world, what would that one message be?
You know, the one message would be that nothing is impossible, and that our dreams, no matter what they are, we should embrace them, because I've had all sorts of dreams that I thought were inconsequential or not really that, humanitarian or something, like I'd love to have a fancy car and a fancy home and all that kind of stuff. But, the interesting thing is that in embracing those things that I desired, it actually helped me create the life that I wanted. And in the process, I helped a lot of people along the way and got to learn that nothing is impossible and that anything that we want to create, we can create. And you know what? We don't have to believe it all the time, because there have been lots of times when I did not believe that it was possible.
Yeah. I have been there. I think we've all been there. We've all been there. So that is great. Thank you so much for that. As I go into many of these interviews, just the first response always elicits all of these thoughts that I want to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep this very short and digestible for everyone. So we'll move on to the second question, which is thinking about the most challenging moment of your life. And you don't have to share the challenging moment, because I'd really want you to focus on what is the lesson that you learned from this challenging moment.
Well, the lesson that I learned from the most challenging moment was that I'm not in control of everything, and that there is something that is always, there's a purpose for me that's beyond my understanding at any given time. So, when I wanted to give up and tried to, I wasn't allowed to. And because I wasn't allowed to, and because I wasn't the only one running the show, my life has become beautiful and wonderful. My dreams have come true, and new dreams that I didn't even realize that I had wanted to experience in my life have come true as well. So that has just been an amazing experience for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. So the last question is based on one of my favorite quotes from spiritual advisor and thought leader Charles Stanley, and he says, "It is not who we are, it is who we are becoming that's most important." So who would you say you are becoming?
I had a really interesting dream many, many years ago that was really vivid. And I was in a tropical setting following around this guy who, he just had really great energy. Have you ever been around somebody who's just you wanted to be near because it just felt great?
Yeah, most of them are my best friends now.
That's perfect. That's the way to do it.
My life. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was following this guy around as he was walking around through this crowd of people, And then all of a sudden he turned around and looked at me right in my eyes in this dream. And I saw that it was me as an older man. And I was just glowing with this wonderful, loving radiance with peace and joy coming out of me. And I woke up feeling, oh my God, I have looked into my future. And it's given me such hope to be able to believe that I could become that. And really what that is it's just being at peace with myself in any given point in time. And, I'm not there all the time.
Right.
But I believe that it's that, the true self that each of us are working towards becoming. And I am very excited to be able to see that hopeful future for myself and to hopefully inspire it in other people as well.
That's really exciting. Something you said about being at peace with yourself all the time and that you are not always there. So when you are not always there, when there's a moment that comes into your life or something happens where you're kind of knocked off of that peacefulness, how do you get back to the peacefulness? How do you get back to that place?
One of the things, and there are a number of different things because I've talked to so many different people who've given me great ideas. But one of the things that helps me, because I'm a person who likes to do things for people, so one of the things that helps me is to get into some sort of element of service. To think about what can I do for somebody else, and when I get into that service mode, then all of a sudden new ideas start opening up for me, and I get different ways of thinking about things and different ways about solving problems. And then sometimes it just gives me some time to let something heal that hurt. And so that's the best way for me, is to be in service.
I love that. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. It is a pleasure to talk to you. It really, really is. So thank you so much for your time. And I've said this to other people who have participated. I think something that you said will touch someone's lives and eventually will change it. So thank you so much for this service that you've given for the second edition of Your IV.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
We'll talk more offline. Thank you so much.